Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. I'm Director of Product Development. That's the title. Well, Schick, can't get through an intro without screwing up something, right? No title. That's not true anymore. You can't hear Dallas, but I'm talking to Dallas. It's all in secret. We're going to bring Dallas on, though, right next. We are in the last home stretch. Let's call it the home stretch because we have one more paint stream after this for our May monthly challenge before we play our game with our final 10 character roster on June 3rd, which is next Thursday. Very excited. Dallas and I have been working on 9 characters so far to complete this monthly challenge. We picked 5 characters, the community picked 4, and on the 3rd, you'll get to find out what our secret 10th character pick was based on how everything rolled out with the rosters. With that said, let's get this camera off of me, get it on to the stars of the show, which today are, I believe, your 9th character and my 9th character, correct, Dallas?
Yep.
Which is Lockjaw and Thanos. So here's my Thanos. I talked a little bit about this on stream, but over the weekend I did some sculpting work and gave him a nice tattered post-apocalyptic cloak. This is very much inspired from the Secret Wars / Battle World version of Thanos from the Infinity Gauntlet run. I wanted to make sure that he tied into the rest of my characters who are all kind of in this post-apocalyptic, Earth is destroyed, they're revenging around the galaxy kind of like spiel. And I just thought this was a really fun way to approach Thanos, and it was a new challenge. I've never actually sculpted anything like a cloak before. I learned a lot of lessons, but overall I'm pretty happy with the result. I think it works. And the next one I do, I'll do even better because I know what I'm doing now. So that's pretty exciting.
I'm just gonna say, Lockjaw and Thanos is the comic I need.
That's it. That's the team up.
Yeah.
Well, sir, instead of teaming up, they will square off against each other on the field of battle come next Thursday.
And then team up.
Oh, is that how it's gonna happen?
I mean, that's how all comics work, right? It's like, we fought, but now we're friends.
But now we are friends. That does, it does happen more often than not, for sure. Like, so I could see it. I could definitely see it.
I was gonna paint Lockjaw brown, and you mentioned that the community said I should paint a different color, but I don't remember what color it was.
I have no idea, unless someone in chat remembers or wants to make something up to make you paint Lockjaw not brown. I just, I remember the chat often it has so many impacts on our, on our decisions that we do. I just kind of assumed that something had been asked for, and that was where we're at.
I feel like you're right, but I don't remember. Baby blue. I don't know about that. I need him to look like a villain. He's gotta look tough and cool.
He does have to look evil. It's true. Just adjust our colors a little bit here.
That's alright. I'm blocking in the glowy eyes. That cape looks like just evil baby blue. I like
evil baby blue. Is that the color of choice here?
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure we can make something up, maybe. So like you said that this is the first time you've ever sculpted a cape, and
yeah,
like we've talked, you learned a lot, and you know how and where to improve. But like I think that it definitely tells the story, and it works very well for what you're doing. So I think that like that's the success of it, right? Is that you did it, you tried it without fear.
Yeah, well, let's not say without fear. There was definitely that like bravery test where I was looking at it and I'm like, maybe I don't do this, but in the end, I asked a lot of advice from you and talked to them, watched some good tutorial videos and stuff on how to work with it, and I've been fortunate enough to work around sculptors throughout a long time in the industry, and especially when I first started, traditional sculpting was certainly more of a commonplace thing than it is now, where digital sculpting has really taken over. But a lot of the same principles apply and stuff, and so it was interesting. Like, I started it, and I was thinking, can I use an existing cape from the line? And the only one that really would have worked for that was Cable's, but even Cable's cape was like way too small, and it didn't quite fall the way I wanted. So I took the plunge and grabbed some sculpting, some two-part sculpting epoxy, and spent a weekend just kind of like futzing with it. It was really fun. It was actually really enjoyable to mess with, and I certainly had things happen where I was like, oh, I really like this, and I had some things happen where I was like, that was a total mistake. How do I fix it? And it just kind of go from there. But thankfully, the cloak is supposed to look really ratty and kind of grody because it's post-apocalyptic style. So that was super helpful to the whole overall result. I don't know if I'm ready to sculpt like a super nice Asgardian cape yet. That might be a little bit too far, but I'll get there.
Sometimes that's how you learn. It's like you do the grungy version first, right? It's supposed to look not right.
Well, I think too, when it comes to especially these characters, like Marvel characters and stuff, you have so much artistic style. Like, you think of all the different art styles that you've seen over the years in comics, and I'll be the first to admit, not every creative team's take or artistic style is for me, and I'm sure that's true of a lot of people. But you get a lot of leeway in terms of like stylization and abstract nature and stuff, so that helps too. It's like, well, it's my take on this character, and there's no real right way or wrong way to do it, and that transfers into like how we've approached our color schemes and stuff like that too, right? It's really nice because it is so freeing. Like, there's so much choice you get to make in terms of like how you want your characters to look, and that's the hobby in general. But I feel like Marvel, especially because of how all of these characters are so often reimagined and reinvented by the amazing artists who work with them, it just feels a lot more right when you do your own thing to it, and you're like, well, this definitely like changed the look of the character a ton and isn't what you would call like standard. But at the same time, you can point to anything where it's like the standard changed over and over again, right? So that's also pretty fun.
Yeah, there's just so many versions, like, and you can kind of like take your take on them. I agree. It's like, that's the fun of it. Have fun and play in the universe.
It's true. I'm excited to see whatever craziness you're converting right now for your 10th secret character, because you've dropped a lot of hints lately, but I haven't seen. We haven't seen. It has not been revealed yet. But there's been some maniacal laughter and some sinister like looks in the eyes from Dallas whenever he talks about it in the office. So I know it's going to be good.
It's not what you expect.
No? Probably breaks all the rules knowing you. That's Dallas's MO. He's like, yeah, I know that this is what the rules were, but this is actually what I'm doing.
Look, then if you follow the rules, you become predictable.
Oh, is that it? Is that it? Unpredictability. That's our stance here. That's our defense.
Gotta keep people on their toes.
It won't be too long now. And of course, since you have your, I won't ask you because I feel like it'll give away the secret 10th character at this point. But have you started thinking about all your tactic cards?
Not really. I still haven't thought about my tactic cards. I'm real bad about that phase of the game. I mean, even in the games we played on live stream, like, I usually pick the tactic cards at the table, and usually I'm just like, can you just give me 5?
Give me 5 that work.
I'm really bad about it. Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
Somebody's calling me.
Nice. Perfect timing.
Oh, gosh. was dangerous.
Is it? Is it dangerous?
Yeah, who knows who was calling me and what they would have said as soon as I opened the chat.
Does this look like evil baby? Is this your evil baby blue right now? Is this what's happening?
I mean, it's definitely baby blue, and I'm just kind of putting some fur texture, and then I think I'm going to glaze over top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just to add some fur texture and make it interesting. And somebody mentioned the Gooey Cheese said we should have the tuning fork glowing, and I'm like, definitely. Like, my other Lockjaw is definitely got glowing tuning fork and eyes, so I want to carry that over and do it on this one too, to kind of show that teleporting.
Show him harnessing his dimensional power set.
Yeah. Look, he's got people to teleport.
He does. He has so many people to teleport. So far. In
From
so
the
many
moon.
ways. I don't know if Thanos would necessarily be like a costume follower, but that's how I'm going to paint him for this roster challenge, because everybody's in the same Guardian colors. So Thanos will also be in the Guardian colors, even though that might be a little out of character for him. I don't know that he's a team suit kind of person.
Look, he's just playing up the ruse.
He's reformed. There's no ruse. He's reformed. He's all in it here. Now, Ebony Maw, on the other hand, it's questionable. I still don't know that I buy that. I wouldn't trust the black-tongued Maw with anything. But, he's on the ship. He made the cut. We'll see what happens. I think we all know it's going to be a sudden and inevitable betrayal.
I mean, yeah, that guy is way untrustworthy.
I would not ask.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
To ask what I did for the seam line on Lockjaw's back. What I like to use for, I don't use just one product or one technique to cover seams. I use several different ones, depending on the type of seam and where it's placed and kind of how lazy I feel. Schick has several ways that he covers seams, but for this in particular, on the back, that big long seam, I just use super glue. I just smash some super glue in there and let it kind of ooze out, and then I used emery boards to sand it down.
Yeah, you can do you can basically do the exact same technique with like a thicker plastic cement as well.
Yeah.
The application is effectively the same. When you do the super glue one though, typically you put super glue out on like a piece of plastic card or something, like a holding station. You let it dry a little bit first, right? You don't put it in completely liquidy, or do you?
I put it in completely liquidy and let it kind of cure on the miniature a little bit.
Because I know I've certainly watched a couple of tutorials about utilizing super glues in that way, and some folks will let it cure a bit first to where it gets tacky.
Yeah.
And then apply it so that it doesn't run into the seam. Instead, it sits on top of the miniature, or and fills the gap better.
Yeah, I think there's just several different ways you can approach it. Sometimes I put the glue in there and then I just smash the pieces together and just let it ooze out.
Mm-hmm.
Other times I put the miniature together and then put the glue on top and kind of let it start to cure. But you're right. The secret is you let it start to cure and then
Mm-hmm.
in that gel-like pseudo form stage, you can sand it down. He's gonna have baby blue fur, but it's gonna be still got shading up there.
For those talking in the chat, Cyber Insanity wants us to break out the promotional boards for our game. My response to that is that our promotional boards are not 3x3 boards, so it would be an illegal game state.
They are not 3x3s.
Yeah, everything done promotionally is to look, really great for photography and have a density of like terrain and all that stuff that is evocative of the narrative experience. But we actually don't, partially due to just storage space and the practicality of making really good photography boards. We actually don't have anything that's actually 3x3. I think the closest one we have is probably the Xavier School, and that one's 2x2.
That's 2x2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mainly storage, like, you know, and the practicality and stuff like that. Not saying you couldn't make a 3x3. You totally could and should. It's just more for us. It's the practicality and like getting them done and storing them.
Mm-hmm.
When you have as many boards as we're starting to get now at this stage in our life, and way more coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're keeping those train makers real busy for sure.
If anybody knows more train makers, I'm totally looking for them at all times.
We do have a never-ending string of projects for folks to help out with for sure.
Yeah, if you're a professional train maker and you happen to be watching this stream, please reach out to Dallas. I will put you to work.
So much work.
Shading him up.
Oh. Look at him go. He just looks like, he almost looks like he's in grayscale. He just lost his color for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe that's what happens.
Maybe. It didn't happen to anyone else, but maybe it happened to Lockjaw. Like, Lockjaw could never truly be evil, but he could lose all of his color.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, absolutely. Lockjaw cannot truly be evil.
Not with a face like that. Look at him.
I think if I was like, this doggo's evil, my kid would come in and just straight punch me. Just, dog is never evil, father.
I do really appreciate how your child always calls you father. It's so formal. And also so, like, there's a gravitas to that, you know?
My child is very formal. He's
Yeah.
he's like an 80-year-old man in a 21-year-old body. I shall stay in tonight and discuss politics with my friends. Dude, you're 21. Get out.
No. This is the important work that must happen here.
RD Jones 78 says, do you have to play on a 3x3? Yeah, you kind of do, because all the... I'm not going to say you have to. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. It's your game. But, you know, all the crises are designed at 3x3.
Everything is 100% balanced around a 36 by 36 inch playing surface. Now, you can take a larger surface and, you know, do some math adjustments to it and create a 36 by 36, obviously. And as Dallas said, you can do whatever you want. So if you have a smaller surface and you want to play that way, you know, just be a little creative and know that some crises might be a little aggressive and other ones might be better suited, and just figure it out with your opponent and play the game in a way that's fun and enjoyable for everyone, and that's all you need to worry about. But the game board is definitely part of that locked in development thing where we have to know exactly what the measurements are so that we can make sure that everything is as balanced as it can be and the expectations are all there and all of that. So. But overall, just know that if you want to do it on a different size table, you're going to have to adjust on the fly accordingly, or kind of expect things to maybe get a little cray-cray.
I like playing on weird tables, though. Like I really enjoy weird tables when, because I'm definitely like, how does this work in the game? I don't know. I don't think it does. Let's just make it up and play the game and like make it where it's ridiculous, and then I'm in.
Yeah, certainly I think part of the biggest enjoyment of any hobby miniatures game is the opportunity to, play on crazy, custom, awesome-looking scenario tables that practically, in terms of we're going to play a super balanced and normal standard game, might not work the best, but man, it looks cool when you do it, and that's where you have the most fun, is like making things up, Yeah. And like, how does this gantry work? The rules don't explain it. We'll do it this way, and everyone's like, that sounds great, and then you just do it. And you make up your own house rules about jumping off the gantry and getting extra dice from the impact on the ground, and like all that stuff. Super cool. Like, you should absolutely do it that way, no question. But just make sure that whoever you're playing with is also in on that experience, and then you're good, right? It takes two to tango, as they say.
As long as both people are having fun, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Not really. Unless 4 other people around you aren't having fun, in which case then maybe reevaluate. But, if there's just 2 of you. I decide how I want to do his shoes. I think I'm going to do them black. I've got a mixture of black shoes and red shoes. I don't think I want these shoes to be red, though. And blue metallic just seems a little too ostentatious.
For a guy wearing a giant gold glove.
Is it a challenge? Chat's asking, your Masterson, is it a challenge to come up with Crisis that does not feel like a re-recorded or a reworded version of an already existed in Crisis? Sometimes, I suppose. I mean, the Crisis system that we have and the way we designed it is definitely like, the maps are fixed. We do have the opportunity, I suppose, given that map cards are listed by letter, to introduce new maps if we wanted to for like brand new Crises. But I think from a base standard game, the maps that we have are very much the maps that we know work the best. And so that kind of already sets one point where it's like, okay, everything's going to be here. And you kind of know what the layouts are, and then you know what those mean. And, for me, it's like, I think the crises are important, but once you have your stock set of crises, which is what you get with those maps, then it really just becomes, how do you flavor the scenario elements to make them unique and interesting without making them radically different? I wouldn't pretend to claim, and I guess Pagani could disagree with me if he was here, but I don't think he would. I don't pretend to claim that every Crisis we come up with is this radically new experience that totally changes the play environment. I don't think, from a development standpoint and a balance standpoint, with everything else going on in Crisis Protocol, that's where we'd want to spend our complexity. And it's certainly a place where I think more problems would come than good from it. So instead, what we kind of aimed for was a lower key approach where you have, very, very set expectations on crises and how missions work and all of this stuff that you can plan around, but the little added narrative extra, the what does the objective do, how do you interact with it, does it give you a benefit, does it give you a negative, I think those are the things that make the tactical plays and how you approach them so interesting. And we've tried to be as creative as possible, pulling from storylines and stuff with those, because I think that's where all of the flavor comes from. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, you're changing only a couple of elements of the crisis itself overall. But I think those elements are the most important elements to the flavor and to the tactical approach that you take with them. And so that was kind of the realm that we decided to play in, and we established that after a lot of testing of different mission elements, which Dallas probably remembers pretty well because we went through so many iterations so quickly to try to figure out, okay, what is the best play experience for this game? How does it work? Yada yada. This was the element we landed on. We kind of set forth our path forward, and coming up with cool and flavorful things for what a secure abstract token does, what an extract token does. It's not that hard, actually, because we have so much great Marvel narrative to pull from, and everybody's always got a storyline that they want to do. Then it just comes down to testing the effect, and sometimes effects are a little too strong or a little too irrelevant, and we tweak and balance and change and iterate. But at the end of the day, map A is always going to be map A, and if it's an extract map A, well, you kind of know what to expect, except for the fact that those interact objectives or those secure objectives, I don't think we've done a 5-point secure yet. We've tried a couple, but I don't know. To memory serves, I don't think anything's out there yet like that. It's always a bit too much. Those are the things that make the process different and fun. So, oh yeah, talking about yeah, we've used chat's talking about the boards that were at Gen Con. We've used those for a lot of different photography. They were used for demoing. We actually don't have those boards in our office here in the Seattle area. They're actually kept at Asmodee North America in Roseville because they go to shows.
Yep.
So.
Show tables are definitely different than photography tables. There's a different sort of philosophy that I like to see on those.
I need my violet, Alice. My violet. I found it. Darth Rev in 1979 talking about the crisis maps and the secure extracts from Civil War. So, obviously, absolutely, you could see those in the future. They were very different, and intentionally so. So we've talked a bit about standard play and kind of the basic form of the game. But, one of the big things we always want to do, and we work on, especially for organized play stuff, is to come up with new and unique twists on standard gameplay. And so the stuff for the Civil War event were missions that we had played around with for other expressions of the game and some future organized play stuff, because we're always working on different and new things, and that was a great way to kind of introduce those concepts and put them out in a fun way in the wild and just see how people responded to them and how they worked for the community and stuff. So there's we have so many. There's like a file of just unused crazy crisis ideas and mission setups and stuff sitting in the server. And someday will those wind up in a character pack as an official crisis with a brand new map card? Maybe. You never know. But a lot of the times what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll be like, okay, well, let's come up with, or somebody will come up with an idea and they'll be like, I think this would be really cool to do. And we'll write it down, or we'll kind of take the notes on it. And we'll say, well, this doesn't really work for any of these maps. Here's a different map layout for it. And then we'll put it in, in the archive and keep it in mind for future OP events. Ministravaganza 2 is coming. I guarantee you that you'll probably see some more unique crises and stuff for whatever the event is that we do for Mini Stravaganza 2, because of course we're going to continue to do a fun global campaign that everyone can participate in at home or with their friends or whatever as we go forward. And we just think that's so fun to do, and it's fun to organize. It's really neat to watch people get a chance to kind of relive that convention opportunity, but where they live, especially while traveling is still not exactly something that everyone feels comfortable with and all that stuff. So you'll definitely see more. Does it wind up in does it wind up in a product as like a standard base crisis? Maybe not. Who knows, right? There's a lot of future growth and places to go, and like I said, the system is certainly designed to allow us to introduce new maps if we feel like we come up with an idea that's just like going to be great and reutilized. But I think also the place where we get to really kind of explore and branch out from standard gameplay is also in organized play and in different game experiences, whether that's formats or narrative missions like Vibranium Heist or those things, campaigns like the new Crisis cards that we did for the Infinity War event. We have the Separation Anxiety kit that's coming out really soon alongside the Spider-Man release stuff, which introduces a 4-player free-for-all multiplayer game mode with crazy symbiote cards and all this stuff. So like there's just so much potential and room to explore and do different things. And I don't think all of it, belongs in or is ideal for base game experiences. So
it's funny how many ideas we have. And you just put aside, and then you're like, well, this doesn't work for this character, or this pose doesn't work for this character. And you just put it in a little folder, and then like 6 months later, you're like, oh, that pose we drew that we rejected, or that idea we had, right? Let's bring that back. And we so many ideas get circulated around every single one of these characters, every single one of these crises, every single one of these, products, like these miniatures, these characters, and like we don't throw them away. They sometimes come back later.
You never know. Even an idea at the time that you're like, this is the worst idea ever, might be the best idea a couple years later. So it's always good to keep an archive for sure.
Always be pushing and trying and doing your stuff and seeing what you can do. And sometimes you have an idea and engineering your production's like, yeah, and you kind of put it in your pocket, and then like later on you're like, what about this again? They're like, yeah, you know what? We figured it out.
Yep. Yeah, there's absolutely like a growth and progression, and sometimes you scale it back and do something a little less extreme, and then that tells you, okay, well, this is how you approach the more extreme version, and just keep going, right? Same with hobbying or painting or anything else. It's progression by steps, and
literally everything you do in life, right? It's all about
pretty
growth.
much.
We talk all the time, me and you, we talk in meetings and stuff like that. We're firm believers in you're always looking to improve. It's not about today. It's about, do the best you can today, but learn from it, grow from it, and what can you do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm learning is Lockjaw's the best. Look at it.
I like the really stark contrast between his two halves here. I think he's easily the most extreme of the characters that you've done in this half magenta scheme at this point. Because he's literally one half magenta, one half black, just based on his tube-like nature.
Yeah, it's the shape of his body and the direction I was bringing that light, and I was like, well, it really does kind of bifurcate him, but I think it works really well. I want to show this off because I was really happy with the way this turned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were looking at this earlier. It was really dope.
I was really happy with how that painted up. And I added the water effect finally. What do you think? Should we? I got plenty of time. Should I add like some lightning shooting down his back, like from his tuning fork, like some?
Oh my goodness. See, now you can tell Dallas is in his groove, because now he's just like, how do I make this project more hard? Do it. Lightning all the way. Let's see it. Walk us through the process here, Dallas.
I don't have a process.
Well, you're going to do it. That is a process.
That's true.
You just have to explain what you're doing as you do it. You know, that's the trick.
I think the first step, I'm gonna try to lightly draw little lines with off-white. And kind of think about like how lightning looks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then maybe add some little dots around it, like crackles. Maybe this one forks out over here. And then maybe this one forks awkwardly this way because it's a really awkward fork. But you know, whatever.
You've moved off camera, my friend.
Oh,
I know, the worst. Mostly, we're just seeing half your face as you do all of your beautiful artistry. There you go.
shows how fast he is, I guess.
Because you got lightning bolts. Lightning ones do go faster for sure. No question.
And then I'll go over this with some like blues.
You're obviously doing this one off the cuff, but I've read a couple things, watched a couple tutorials where people, when you're doing freehand, I've noticed some artists will use like really soft artist pencils and they'll draw it actually on the mini itself. Because if you get like a number 4 or whatever the soft lead pencil is, it won't damage the acrylic paint once it's dry, but of course you can erase.
Funny story, literally 10 feet away from me, I can see it over on my other art desk, because of course I have multiple art desks, is a soft lead drafting pencil that I literally used for this exact purpose, and I'm not doing it again.
Oh, you're not doing it again? It wasn't for you?
No, I would do it again. I just didn't think about it. I'm just like rolling through this. But like definitely for freehand, I'm a big proponent of getting a piece of plastic card and like a piece of paper, practicing it multiple times. Like you really want to know what the shape is. I think a lot of people try to freehand and they don't think about the size of the canvas. And I'm saying canvas is like the panel you're going to paint on or the back of a dog. So you don't think about the size of the canvas and then you kind of get stumped, or you don't think about the shape. So I'm a big proponent of practicing it out, trying it out multiple times, getting your brush control to where you can really feel that littlest tiniest tip do the work, and then apply it to the nature. Like don't do what I'm doing and just jump right into the deep end of the pool here. What do you think? How's that light? What do you think? What do you think of the lighting?
It's looking like lightning to me.
It's kind of ridiculous, but I love it.
It looks like he's getting pretty singed by his own powers here. He's potentially ready to make a quantum leap, as it were.
Oh,
to really date myself here in my TV show analogies.
He hit 88 miles per hour.
Oh, there you go. I don't feel like that one's as dated though. Back to the Future is an all-time classic. Quantum Leap, maybe less so. I'm willing to admit that might not be the first show in everybody's like quee.
Okay, first off, who's Lockjaw's owl? Secondly, why is this not a comic book? Oh, Thanos is Lockjaw's owl. Thanos and Lockjaw team up to go back.
Thanos is right there. He's just like, You gotta fix this before you can jump again, Lockjaw. And Lockjaw's like, I'm a dog. Maybe it's the Lockjaw of old, back when he was a inhuman, an actual inhuman, not just an inhuman dog. So there is a person in there, but as a dog, which maybe makes it better. I'm not entirely sure.
Artie John Scott Bakula was good in everything Scott Bakula was in.
Which I don't think was much, honestly.
He was in Star Trek.
That's true. He was Archer, right? That was the Admiral?
I think.
He's no Richard Dean Anderson, but who is? Who is?
Who can?
Archer. I should have known that. Archer.
Ride the lightning.
Oh, is this the song?
When you see Lockjaw, you'll teleport.
If you ride the light, is this some Ronnie James Dio coming in here? This is.
Look, if I could have a little Ronnie James Dio riding Lockjaw, that would be the greatest miniature of all time.
I'm not entirely sure that's what I meant, but sure, why not? Let's do it. It's much more exciting than riding the tiger. Riding a Lockjaw, that's just the improved version of that.
Oh, can't you see what I mean? Jump!
Teleport, sir.
Alright, that's a lot of lightning for one little dog.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Should it come down the front or sides any? Maybe a little sparkle around. We'll do a little sparkle around the front.
You could definitely do it coming out of the eyes. Tying in those eyes would be good.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta call out BK. Where's my digital cupcakes for everyone, BK? We talked about this last week. You knew it was coming. Everybody in here deserves a birthday treat.
It's Chick's birthday.
It's my birthday, and I promised everyone you, Mr. BK, would give them digital cupcakes or birthday cake, your choice.
This goes right back to what I've been talking about for 2 days.
I mean, technically, I don't know if BK ever agreed to it, so I'm not sure if it entirely fits what you've been talking about, but we can definitely do it. I was promised digital birthday cake for these people. More specifically, these people were promised digital birthday cake. Because unfortunately, I still can't provide them with real birthday cake. Someday, though. We're going to have to figure out the table for the game that we're going to use next week, Dallas.
Wait, is it next week we're playing?
Yeah, it's next June 3rd. I mean, May is almost over, for crying out loud. It's gone by like a flash.
Ah!
I know. What even happened with our lives? The monthly roster challenge filled it up. That's what happened. The best I can do is a pancake basket. That looks like an on-fire picnic basket. There's nothing pancakey about that, BK.
I don't want burning pancake basket or picnic basket.
It looks like an on-fire picnic basket. Like,
even Yogi Bear would walk away from that one.
A flaming picnic basket?
He'd be like, nah.
Yogi Bear wouldn't walk away from it. His smarter, smaller compatriot would definitely tell him to. Boo Boo? Hey, Boo Boo!
See, it's just there now.
Oh, I love that song.
It just lives in you.
I'll be honest. whenever I see a tiger mount in anything, I immediately think of that song, and it doesn't go away for weeks.
I will tell you right now, every time I go to a zoo and I see a tiger, I say, jump, jump.
I just always think of the ride the tiger part.
Or whoever I'm next to, I just move my hands dramatically and say, "Oh, can't you see what I mean?"
I'm gonna start using that in cam meetings now. When I give a note, there'll be no way you can disagree with it at that point.
You're just gonna be like, I think these buckles need to be bigger. Oh, can't you see what I mean?
I feel like Marco wouldn't know what to do with that, to be honest. Which might make it the best plan ever.
That's probably the best plan, yeah.
It's really just serenading the boy.
Well, it's year 2, and we finally found our stride of nonsense.
It's true. We're there.
This is literally why we weren't allowed to be on stream together for a long time.
Yeah. But then, we made the rules. For those asking in the chat, yeah, this is my Thanos for the roster challenge. So what I did is I sculpted a raggedy post-apocalyptic cape on him, and it's heavily based off of his appearance in the Infinity Gauntlet series from Secret Wars / Battleworld with God Doom Emperor, or God Emperor Doom. That's what it is, not God Doom Emperor. That's a weird curse. So I wanted him to fit in with my ragtag Revengers of the Galaxy team that we've been painting over the month of May. So figured, why not? I got to try my hand at sculpting something this big for the first time ever. It was terrifying, but fun. I learned a lot. And I'll probably be trying to add capes to more things in the future. Because now I can. So, much like those Jurassic Park scientists, I'm not going to ask if I should. I'm now only concerned about, can I? Can I add a cape to this? Yes. Should I? That question's irrelevant. The answer to the previous question was yes.
I'm a big fan of that. It doesn't matter if I should. I can. Mentality. Robots, I agree, Mr. Yamport. Robots should always have awesome capes.
Why should awesome capes be for robots, though?
Because they're cold.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, their little steel gets all chilly.
They need a warm little cape to keep their internal cogs warm and operating smoothly.
Yeah. Robots are cold-blooded. They have to keep warm to keep working.
I mean, robots are cold-blooded. That's why they always rise up and murder humans. They're creators. Because they're so cold-blooded, you see.
Yeah.
No emotions. He's liquid, you say.
Oh, can't you see what I mean?
Oh, there it is. There it is. Add a cape to... I could add a cape to Mr. Sinister. We could cape his cape. No. He needs double the cape. Triple the cape. I mean, by your logic, his cape is made of metal tendrils, so they're probably pretty cold. They need a cape to keep them warm.
They are it is like the Venetian blind of metal. Which, by the way, the most recent X-Men run with Mr. Sinister is astounding. I love it so much. And where he is like talking to himself about his own faith was just primo writing.
He's he certainly lost some of the sinister of his name and just become something else.
I mean, he still does sinister thing, but he's just so extra. And I love it.
It is pretty good. The initial scene in the Dawn / House and Powers of X run, where they first like go to Sinister and you see him kind of like just living his best life with all of his sinisterness, all the Sinisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a great way to reintroduce that character in terms of what the creative team wanted to kind of do with him throughout the run, for sure. I don't know if I want to go one level higher on that, if I'm pretty happy with where it is. Just a little bit. Let's take it to the extreme. One more highlight. Well, that's pretty pink. He wants me to add Stubble to Thanos. I'm not even sure how I would do that.
Oh, how do you do? Oh, yeah. How do you do? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so purple skin, stubble. I guess what color is his hair? What color is Thanos' hair? You have to establish that.
I don't know if his Titanness has hair. But now I can't unsee Thanos with a giant afro. Because you're like, what's his hair? And I was like, well, given the time period in which Thanos was created, the most ridiculous hair for him to possibly have would be a giant afro. And therefore, I feel like we all know that that's what he would have had. I mean, all we have to do is go back to the Thanos copter to prove whatever he had was definitely going to be pretty silly. Some scritches and texture to the bottom of his cape.
Look, it's how you steal a fruit pie.
No, it was he's stealing the cosmic cube. It wasn't a fruit pie.
Oh, I thought that was also one of those fruit pie.
I mean, no, that was the wall. The brick wall guy at the Mets game.
Or the time the Hulk rolled up some thugs in concrete.
Well, yeah, you don't steal the Hulk's Hostess fruit pie. That's not cool, man.
Paint a dog in 20 minutes, paint lightning for 40. This seems like
I mean, you got it. It's white. It's true. It is I guess, yeah, you do see him with hair in the Cosmic Ghost Rider stuff when he's one and he's all old.
He's got the long white hair.
He's got the Maestro thing going on. But I don't think this definitely isn't like old man Thanos. He's certainly still at prime Thanos age here. I feel like. Could be wrong though. I mean, we could just give him gray stubble, I guess. If your hair goes white, it probably started black, you would think. Salt and pepper. The stones would give you white hair. But see, you could use the power of the stones to give your hair color back to yourself.
It's true.
It's a never-ending struggle, you see. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's the Infinity Stones.
Is it just for men or is it the time gem?
Just for Titans, sir. Just for Titans. Yeah, pretty happy with that. That works. Sweet. Now on to the blue. Ooh, that's what I forgot. A little bit of this action. Also, I mean, I have to go look at that Cosmic Ghost. I think he does have a beard. Does it just cover his whole chin, though?
I love that Hulk on the chain is like one of my favorite images, by the way.
It's pretty great, for sure. It's definitely one of those, like, oh crap moments where he's like, yeah, this is Thanos' universe. No question. You have Hulk as your vicious pit bull guard dog thing. Your junkyard dog.
One
now.
teleporting dog.
One teleporting dog.
Three minutes to spare.
Oh my gosh, it is almost 2. Where does the time go?
Yeah, we were talking about all kinds of nonsense.
Just talking about nonsense, and now all of a sudden, like, our stream is over. Jeez. Well, I guess I won't even dive in on this blue because there's no reason to mix my highlight color when I won't get to utilize it until after work. So, it's a lovely looking Lockjaw.
I'm happy with him. He's gonna look.
Yeah.
He's gonna look cool next to his new leader that's coming.
Yeah, there's the Enchantress that I finished this morning as well. So we're moving right along here. We've got the whole team. We put these two next to each other. Look at them, they're so nice. Oh,
they're so evil.
They're so evil. Well, one's evil. One's trying to do good. He's showing you how he doesn't have the Infinity Stones anymore, you know, because they're all drilled out. So. All right, chat. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on our penultimate edition of the May Roster Challenge. We will be back next Tuesday. We will be off on Thursday as we have some visitors in town and some things going on at the office. So there will be no stream this Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific. We'll be back on Tuesday for the last episode of the May Monthly Roster Challenge. We'll wrap up some stuff, or maybe we'll just paint some brand new stuff. Who knows? Dallas is out of his 9, and I'm basically there too. We have secret ones, but we can't reveal the secret ones. Otherwise, be sure to join us back. Dallas and John Schaefer will be back on tomorrow for some sweet painting for the other roster challenge that we have going on. And then, of course, I will be back on with Michael Plummer on Friday to complete our week of streaming. So until next time, stay good to each other, stay safe, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, everybody. Talk to you later. Lightning Lockjaw coming at you live.